What's up, guys? We are back with another episode of Southern Arizona Sports Talk. Hit that air horn and applause real quick. Hey, we got a great show for you, and we got two special guests. We got Coach Anthony and Coach Bryan. Put it on them. Two legends, and let me just say, anyone that's at Higher Wear, you should be grateful this dynamic duo is not together anymore. Bryan's already scary enough. He's only like, how tall are you, brother?
5'6".
He's sure.
Yep. 5'6.5" on the right side.
We can get the tape measure out.
We get it out, bud.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, I've seen you freaking throw guys probably like 6'5", so anyone that's there should be aware of you.
I mean, just be respectful and you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna start it off, man, because we were talking about conspiracy theories before.
Yes.
So we're gonna start off right from we're gonna go right at it. I was researching you, brother. You gotta tell me why do you believe in Bigfoot, brother?
Why do I believe in Bigfoot? Because this is the thing is my perception of Bigfoot has changed so many times, like along the way, right? It's like, is it the missing link between the evolution between primate and human? I don't think so.
You're getting deep with this, brother.
I'm telling you. Well, you asked the goddamn question.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so do I think it's the missing link between the two? No. I think that is a completely different thing, a whole nother separate thing where alien hybridized humans. But anyways, back to Bigfoot.
Okay, then we're gonna go to that too. You think there's aliens too?
I believe absolutely. There's no way.
Let's go one by one.
Okay, if you look at what and how Bigfoot behaves, right?
Yeah.
They'll be seen and then they just kind of vanish. Okay, so
allegedly.
The thought that I had was these are extraterrestrials that have a protective suit on. It's not a primate. It's not an ape. Yeah. It's an extraterrestrial that has a protective suit on, and it got
so he's up here looking like Iron Man or something like that.
Concept, yeah, but with a more. Did you ever play StarCraft growing up? Well, you're fucking young.
All right. Dude, I wasn't even allowed to play board games.
Warcraft and StarCraft were by this company called Blizzard, and there was three factions. It was called the Protoss, the Zerg, and the humans. And the Protoss had this like protective suit that was liquid, and it was like, and then the Zerg had weapons that were biomechanical. So they're pretty much natural things. So if you were going to have a protective suit, I wouldn't walk around in like an astronaut suit. I would have something that was a little bit more, one, camouflage, two, blended in with the natural area, and three, looked organic. So that's why, and this got spawned like by an idea. There was a little comic. It wasn't canon, but it was Star Wars. It was Han Solo and Chewbacca. And the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive got stuck and they crashed into planet Earth. Right?
Yeah.
And then this like time strip goes by, and it's Indiana Jones searching for Bigfoot, and it's just Han Solo trying to find his buddy. And I was like, man, this like sparked this whole thing going on and on and on. But that one's just this little off canon thing. But if you think about it, it would just be an organic bodysuit that an extraterrestrial would wear. They're starting to say that Bigfoot isn't an ape, but more of an interdimensional creature, or understanding how to move through things like inner Earth tunnels and stuff like that. So, like, dude, I go down these rabbit holes for like inner Earth. If you think like, okay, these are just movies. I've always thought the movies. Someone told me the movies are just giving you breadcrumbs of things that are actually happening.
Okay, I believe you on that one.
Right? It's just breadcrumbs are actually happening. So if Godzilla and King Kong are all of a sudden talking about inner Earth theory and Agartha and all this, like, why now? Right? Why are they saying, okay, well, Antarctica's ice cap is melting and we're seeing into this void that, pilots used to say that they used to see over the day, and now there's things down there that we can't explain. So that's...
So
in a
question
nutshell,
is when are we going looking for him?
Dude, I've been wanting to go up to Oregon. You said when we were talking off air, I was like, dude, I've been to Multnomah Falls, looking around at the vegetation. Like, there's big feet out there for sure.
There's some dude out there.
There's something, dude. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
Like, how many new species get discovered daily?
I'm not a science guy, dude. I don't
think about how many bugs get discovered in a tree. How many new fish get discovered in the ocean? You're going to tell me that there's possibly not a subspecies or thing that is just lurking in the woods. It's like the woods are so dense. Like look at the north of Canada. Like that is just this wild expanse of an ocean of trees that there's no way we can penetrate into that.
But hey, here's a $1 million question though.
Okay.
You think you can get him in a fight?
Could I get Bigfoot in a fight?
Could you beat Bigfoot in a fight?
Okay, so let's go back to the primate alien theory, right? If it's a primate, probably not. Their muscle structures could be completely different. If it's an alien wearing a protective bodysuit, also probably not, because that thing's like 6'8", 7 feet tall. Yeah. So trying to heel hook or take down something that's that heavy has got to be.
I got nightmares from seeing you heel hook people, bro. What about you, Brian? Is Bigfoot real?
I don't know, man.
You're like past that.
I'm not. I don't get that deep into that kind of stuff.
You got any conspiracy theories?
Some things, but
what's one of them that won't put us on CNN?
Here's the other thing, right? Is that it's such a wonderful story to believe that the unknown exists, right? And as you get out or grow into your young adulthood, your imagination just dwindles, and you see the world for what the fuck it really is, and it sucks,
absolutely,
right? You got a job, you got to pay insurance, you got to pay bills, this, that, the other. You end up having kids. They're expensive. They're loud, and your imagination is just nothing after that, right? So if you can continue to keep the imagination on what is possible, right, like
keeps you young,
young mentally, right? And so if you can maintain imagination deep into your adulthood, then creativity is going to constantly be there as well.
Absolutely.
So,
I like what you said. You kind of brought into all together what I want to go through, like kids, work, and all that. 'Cause I really want to get into your guys' journey throughout your wrestling careers.
For sure.
So one thing we can all relate is I think wrestling was all our first love for our sports.
Very true.
What was it like for you guys the first time you went into the wrestling room? And because you were in California at that time, right?
Yeah. I was born and raised in California, and I started my wrestling career in California.
Who got you into it? Who was the first person to be like, let's get in the freaking wrestling room?
My mom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
My mom hated every idea of me doing anything with combat sports. So
my mom loved the idea of me not bouncing off the walls of the house and getting into trouble at school. So that built structure, and I had a great time doing it. I mean, it's not always fun, but I can say for the majority of my life, wrestling has been a key happiness factor.
Nice. What were the first couple kind of days like wrestling? Because I remember my first couple days, and it was nothing but getting my head slammed on the mat.
Dude, I don't think I won a match for like 3 years. I don't know. It was fun though.
That's cool.
It was fun. You have to try it. You have to go out. You have to experience it. Everybody experiences things for their own. And if you go through life just not doing it because it looks scary or it looks hard or it looks weird to you, then you're just going to be a sheltered person.
Gotta take the risk no matter what.
No risk it, no biscuit.
Right.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's going to be real for us for sure.
No risk it, no biscuit. Shout out to Ace Martinez. That's his saying.
That that guy's watching that guy fight when I did. That dude is one of the grittiest dudes I ever seen before. That guy has zero quit in him.
Yeah, dude. He's. I wish he just never took that time off, man. He moved to Phoenix and he took 5 years off, 4 years off.
Shoot. He was. I think after when our guy went against him, you can just sign to like a UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, so he was on Fight Pass. He ended up he won the contract to fight in Pancrase in Japan.
Okay. You got a couple stints in Japan too, right?
Yeah. I had 3 fights out there. He's got a fight coming up, but when I think back, like he was fighting at Tough Enough. He beat a local Las Vegas, guy that was super favorited to beat Ace. And then, he won the Pancrase contract and stuff like that. But
he's a stud, man.
But yeah, he always says no risk it, no biscuit. So that's why I had to drop that little
reel right there.
Gem.
Yeah. So what about you, brother? What was it like the first couple years you were wrestling? Who got you into it?
So I come from a really long line pedigree of wrestlers.
Okay.
My Tío Quito, Art Gonzalez, was
Sunnyside guy, or
no? He's Saudita. So
because you're originally from Saudita.
Yeah, I'm originally from Saudita. So my Tío Chato, Victor Gonzalez, is Saudita High School's first ever state champion back in 1952, somewhere like that. 62. 72, 62. And then his brother, Art Gonzalez, was probably like our 8th or 10th state champion in 1982. So right around then was when the U of A program that was actually the D1 program got dissolved. But Art Gonzalez is the one that got me into wrestling. I remember I was, it was just kind of an intramural thing at the middle school that I was at, and they just did like a little club.
Yeah. Wasn't too serious, or
wasn't too serious. It was like introducing kids into wrestling. And I remember I was like in 4th, 5th grade, and I remember we trained all week, and then at the end of the week, they would match you up with somebody that was closest to your weight, and I went up against this kid named Jeremy Vega. And I remember.
Is he related to the Vega guys going around?
No. This was another family that came in from somewhere else. But I ended up getting a double leg, lifting him up, and just kind of flaring him off to the side. And I remember I landed my shoulder into his ribs, and that was the match. Like, he was like, started crying and stuff like that. So that was my first experience in like starting wrestling, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I can do this.
You do any other sports in like high school or anything?
Yeah, I played football. I was actually a quarterback. I couldn't see over my line, so like the whole play action rollout offense that we had, PA options. So I did that. I tried doing baseball, and my uncle was like, "Nah, just stick to wrestling."
Yeah.
So
that's a mistake I made, man.
Yeah. So
that's the one with the baseball route sometimes. But
yeah,
it worked out for me.
I wanted to, but you know, because my family was good at 2 sports. It was wrestling and it was baseball. We had a couple football standouts, but like my little brother Cedric Gonzalez went and played for Eastern Washington, Division I. He was a linebacker, and then finished at Washburn State in Kansas. So, but yeah, that was kind of like how I got involved into wrestling, was through my uncle, and it just never left my life.
That's awesome. And then let's go back to your college careers. You started at an NIA in California, right?
No, in Nebraska.
Nebraska? Oh,
Yeah,
shoot.
I went to Dana College.
What was it like transitioning from going to California to Nebraska? Because that must have been somewhat of a huge culture shock.
It was a big culture shock. I mean, I went from sand and sun, and like I could go to 4 different things in one day. I could go sledding, I could go to the desert, and I could go to the beach, or I could go downtown nightlife, all in one day, to cornfields.
Oh, shoot.
I mean, it's a different lifestyle, different way. Obviously, it didn't work out, but...
Yeah. What was the transition like going from high school wrestling to college wrestling? Because what I've known, it's so like coming from high school baseball to college baseball, the jump is freaking huge.
It's a huge change. Like, everything that I thought was going to be super successful in college, wrestling-wise, wasn't. So... I had to rechange some of my game, but the talent level and the drive and the want, like Anthony was saying earlier, like these people are here to wrestle. Like when you're in high school, it's just all to try and get a scholarship, hopefully, maybe, or you're just there to have fun.
Well, right? Yeah, there's 2 groups, right? There's kids that are in it to have fun, or their parents forced them to do it. And then there's kids that realize, like, hey, this is an avenue for me to get to college.
Yeah.
And you have these 2 conflicting mentalities, and the coaches obviously want to coach the kid that's hungry, right? And not to say that we don't want to coach a kid that's there to have fun, but like there's 2 different missions here.
Their mindsets are different.
Their mindsets are different.
What they're going to do at practice and stuff.
No matter what, the work ethic with the kid that's trying to have fun and the work ethic with the kid that's hungry is way, way different.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Let's go into you now. I know your work ethic when you were fighting was crazy because you had 3 jobs when you were fighting, right?
Yeah.
Sports Authority, the roofing, and the bar, right?
Yep.
What was that like, kind of getting ready for fights, but hardly ever sleeping and stuff?
Bro, I try to. That's why now when kids, like the guys that I'm training, are like, "Oh, coach, I'm like, dude, I could never. That could never be me. I just never had those excuses. I never had those problems. Like I was dating girls. I had, really shitty, fucked up girlfriends at the time. I had really good, supportive girlfriends at that time. So when I would have those excuses of like, I could never tell my coach, hey, dude, my girlfriend's not letting me go to practice.
You got a guy telling you that?
Bro, I got guys telling me that all the time.
That's
hey,
great.
dude, it's my second cousin's niece's birthday tonight. We're gonna go to dinner, and I'm like,
They're like, you don't know what I went through,
Dog,
bro.
I missed my favorite sister's wedding. Like, are you kidding me? Like, while she's getting married in Houston or in where were we at? I was in New Orleans fighting Joe Soto while she's,
I watched that fight, by the way.
and I'm like, dude, like, you guys, the name of this game is sacrifice. And if you're not willing to cut those things out, like, and people are like, God, that's so savage. Like, cut your sister's wedding out, not being in there. Bro, I had a mission at the time. I had to go do that.
Yeah.
She had to go do that. She understood. I called her as I'm like getting ready to walk out, and I go, "Hey, I love you very much. I want to congratulate you on your day." She's like, "Cool, go do your thing." That's
a good sister right there.
That's the
Realizing
relationship, but that's the relationship of understanding. That's an athletic family. She was, a stellar softball player. There's an understanding of athletes that's like, nope, I know what you're doing. You know what I'm doing. I understand. So the work ethic of the kids that want to go to college is definitely different. The thing that I noticed was kind of the same stuff that I was working in high school was working in college for me because I was a little bit unorthodox. I was super funky.
And this is
right?
you going from Saudita to Pima at this point, right?
Yeah. Saudita to Pima, I was actually not super successful. I don't even think I wrestled my freshman year at Pima.
Oh, really?
I ended up talking to Coach Solorio and not continuing the season. And I told him I had an opportunity to go wrestle in Oskaloosa, Iowa at William Penn University. So my teammates were Kamaru Usman, Brandon.
Oh, you had Usman with you?
Yes.
So is that the JUCO or Division II?
That's NAIA.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they might be Division II now, but at the time they were NAIA. Kamaru Usman was there. There was another dude, Abel Trujillo. He made it to the UFC.
I know who that is.
He ended up getting in law trouble later, but it was me, Kamaru Usman, Abel Trujillo, and this guy named Brandon Graham. He ended up fighting in Bellator, I think. But yeah, that understanding is like you're your town's superhero, right? And then they send you as tribute to this place, and then you realize every small town superhero is there with you, and you're fighting against all these other superheroes, and you have to maintain absolute focus because if you let the college experience overtake what you're there for, it's 100% failure rate.
That was my toughest thing as a freshman. Good. We'll be right back, guys. That is the sign for an ad break. We'll see you guys see you guys again.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
Take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you got. Legendary like all my idols. Coming for it all and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
Show is sponsored by D's Barbers, one of the best barbershops in town. With the weekend coming up, you're always trying to look fresh. Make sure you go check out my dude, Dave, at D's Barbershop, 1842 West Grant Road. Go check him out.
name is Philip Aguilar.
We don't fucking play!
And we are back. So, did you end up going to that NAA school or what?
Yeah, so I spent a whole semester there. I won my wrestle off at 133s. I ended up getting bumped up to 141 and wrestling off this kid from Chicago. He's another Mexican kid. I ended up beating him at 141. So we had two 125ers that were really, really good. And the coach wanted to. What was weird about that place is the coach had zero wrestling experience. He never wrestled in his life before.
How did he get the job?
He was the dean of students.
Okay.
So he was the dean of students who got the wrestling job. The assistant coach, Coach Frew, was amazing. That was the guy that kept me on the team. That was the kind of guy that kept me motivated. I never knew the psychological effects that being a kid from the Southwest desert and then transferring to a place where the ground is white, the trees are black, the skies are gray every fucking day. Yeah. I didn't know the psychological thing that would do to me. And then, not to mention, I forgot this. My roommate at the time was from Flowing Wells. And little shit would go missing from my room. I ended up losing like a really expensive watch. Oh shit. And like I went to the dean and I was like, hey, I need to get a dorm room on my own. He's like, we don't do that. And I go, I have this much in scholarship money, right? I said, I need a room on my own because all my stuff keeps getting stolen. So he put me I had my own dorm room by myself in college. And my window faced, it was this training field. And then just beyond the training field, probably like 50 yards, is a cemetery. It's an old school cemetery. So
is this where all the ghost conspiracies started?
Just every morning I wake up and I'm like trying to look out the window for like sunrise. Yeah. Ground's white, trees are black, sky's gray, and I'm looking at these headstones and I'm like, God damn it, I hate this place. So, Coach Frew would call me like, hey, stud, haven't seen you in like 2 weeks at practice. What's going on? Coach, there's this weird white shit on the ground. It's cold. This little Mexican boy ain't seen that.
Dude, it's weird. So I went to play baseball up in Colorado.
Yeah.
And going from 105 to -5 is no joke.
Yeah.
Like one of my first days, dude, I didn't know that your hair can freeze when it's that freaking. If you get out of the shower, I didn't know you have to dry it or your hair freezes.
Completely. Completely. Like blow dry your hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I freaking showed up at practice. You can see like the icicles on my hair and stuff like that.
Did you have to go through a winter at Dana?
Yeah, I went there too.
How was that for you?
Sucked, man. Like, dude, I'm used to going out, being able to go paddle out in the ocean at 5 o'clock in the morning in the winter, And now I got to go run off 10 pounds and
snow,
negative 30 degrees.
That ain't the move.
Get out of here.
That ain't the move.
Yeah. So at that point, you guys, that's where you guys end up meeting when you all both end up at GCU, right? Or tell us a little bit about that.
We were both doing a Ken Churchill camp at Fresno State, and like he said, he was there with the team, and I was there on my own. I was that was the summer in between that I had just lost my scholarship at Dana. So, well, no, it was a year after I lost my scholarship, somewhere around there. And R.C. LaHaye was the coach at the time. And he asked me to come and train with his guys, so that was just an extra body. I was like, all right, cool. Went and trained with him, wrestled, and that's where we met. We had some pretty good scraps. I think he was the hardest one that I had to go with at that time. Besides Victor. Victor was pretty tough.
Victor.
He wasn't there, huh? Oh, you weren't there. Never mind. That wasn't him.
No, so then during the camp, all the GCU wrestling kids were just supposed to be like facilitators and help.
Yeah.
And each station had like an NCAA wrestler that was supposed to teach leg riding and tilts, takedown on the feet. I think Ken was like teaching throws or something.
Arm spins.
Arm spins, more than likely throws and arm spins. Dude, that guy, I don't know how that guy didn't get sued more. That guy would launch little ass kids in
still
arm
does.
spins.
What are you talking
I'm
about?
fucking sure he does.
It was a different time.
It was a
back
different
then.
time, bro. 2000, and then it's like 2007, 8 was a different time. But then you're thinking like, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, don't say that, man. I mean, that makes me feel freaking old.
That
Freaking
was 20 years ago.
My cousin the other day, we were listening to the Black Eyed Peas.
How old are you?
Guess.
21.
24. Damn, man, I don't got that much of a vape face. 24.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But no, I was playing the Black Eyed Peas, like an old song. He's like,
It's not that old, bro.
Who the hell are these losers? I'm like, damn,
Yeah, that's
bro.
okay. That's okay. I was asking my kids one time. I was like, "Hey, man, have you guys heard Wu-Tang?" And they were like, "No." And I was like,
I'm just going to sit here quietly and stew.
Dude, during my dad's training camps, that was his song. He would always play like Wu-Tang, like, I don't want to say the whole thing, but that's when you knew shit was about to get real and freaking scary ass Augie was coming out.
The intensity came
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so we were out there 2007. I had my first son in 2008, so it had to be like 2006, 2007 when we were out there. And one of the NCAA guys didn't show up to teach tilts and leg rides. And that's like what I was at. So I actually ended up having a station where I was able to teach that. And then, clinicians and instructors would go live. We would have drilling times and stuff like that. I remember this dude was like, dude, you got to come out with us tonight. You got to come out with us tonight. I was like, oh, you got to be a good boy, dude. RC's going to get fucking pissed if I go out. So we stayed. I ended up staying in my hotel room. And like a year later, I'm at GCU campus and I see this dickhead walking around. And I was like, dude, what happened? He's like, I just got signed. I was like, oh, right. All right, cool. So we had our whole 2007 season, 2006, 2007 season at GCU together. I won my wrestle off for 133. You won at 141 or 149?
149.
49s. And he ended up wrestling. In the middle of this, approached Coach LaHaye because I had already been kind of burnt out. And I wanted to, at the time, my girl was pregnant. I was just going through, overwhelming shit for a guy that's, in his
21,
sophomore,
20, yeah.
junior year in college. So I went to get counsel from my coach. And I walk in, he's like, hey, Stud, what's going on? And Coach, hey, right before that, what do you think about moving to 25s? And I go, I'll talk to you later, RC. I'm done. And like right then and there, I remember that was the pivotal moment for me looking for guidance and him hearing what I had to say. And then him saying, hey, fuck what you're about to tell me. What about you at 125s? And I was
Making
like,
things worse with even worse of a weight cut.
no. And that guy ended up making me hate wrestling. I think that was the only time in my life where I took off, I would say 2 to 3 years from wrestling.
Dang.
And
How much longer till you got into your MMA career? from that?
2009.
Oh, so about 2 years.
About 2 years of not wrestling and walking into 6th Street MMA with Drew Fickett and learning, because Drew wrestled at Pima Community College. Drew wrestled at Sal Point. He was, he's a really, really good wrestler, amazing jiu-jitsu guy. So he was the only guy that I knew that had been doing this UFC thing. At the time, 35s and 45s didn't, 125, 35, 45 didn't exist. Yeah. It was only 155. So I'm like, I'm doing this training just to kind of scratch the itch, right? Then all of a sudden, WEC pops up and they have 125, 135, 145, and that's getting absorbed into the UFC eventually. So that was kind of around the time when I was like, okay, I want to do at least one fight. I just want to see if I have it in me. So 2009.
You fought local like at Cage in the Rage? Or?
It was called Ringside Ultimo Fighting by another local guy named Joel Lopez here. It's still RUF, but it's not Ringside Ultimo Fighting. It's like Ringside something fighting. United Fighting. And he pipelined Cain Velasquez, Ryan Bader, CB Dalloway. So he had like the ASU wrestler pipeline. And I remember he was like, hey, I know you didn't wrestle at ASU, but I know, you're good enough to probably do this thing. I got to fight for you. And I was like, hell yeah. And this was like maybe 3 weeks notice. And Drew's like, dude, he'll take it. he'll fucking choke anybody. And I'm like, no, I won't. I don't know that. Maybe. You know what I mean? I can out wrestle more than, the average bear. And so I remember my first ever MMA corner was Bryan Scambler and my brother Victor Gonzalez. And we didn't know shit about shit. We just showed up, weighed in. I'm like, I think my weigh-in pictures, I'm like this, like looking at the guy. And the guy's like all intense in my face. Yeah. He's already had a couple fights.
Were you fighting amateur or did you go straight to pro?
No, amateur. I only had like 1 or 2 amateur fights, and then I went pro. He could tell I was super nervous. So on the way down to, and this was in Nogales. So on the way down to Nogales, we passed Desert Diamond. He's like, let's pop in here. We sit at the blackjack tables. We start playing blackjack. We start winning.
Is this right before your fight? Or
right before my fight.
Oh, that's awesome. you just knew that was gonna kill his nerves.
I mean, he's my best friend, dude. Like I know, I know what to do to get his mind off of like when he's super, super, super like hyper focused and stressed out. Like I can see it.
Yeah, that's a good coach right there as well.
So we start winning, and I remember I'm like, hey man, like I just had this mentality of like, we're doing good. We should walk away. And he's like, fuck that. Let it ride. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to waste all of our luck right now because I might need some in about an hour. So we ended up getting out of there. At the time, like Transformers, the first Transformers had just dropped. And my fight was in the back of the Oasis movie theater in Nogales, Arizona, in the parking lot, July 4th, 2009. So they had the cage set up in the back parking lot. There was, seating all around, pop-up bar, and then, just porta potties. Yeah. And I remember the weirdest part was it was a mariachi playing the Star Spangled Banner because it was 4th of July.
That's awesome.
So I was like, this is so Nogales.
It got done, though. It got done.
Yeah, so and then I remember like stepping into the cage, and I remember the first thought that I had was like, God damn, look at all these bugs. Because it's a muggy July 4th.
Yeah. And you're
right
outside,
there.
too.
It's outside, bro. There's so many like pinacate beetles, like the little black beetles, and the what do you call them? The little mesquite beetles. I was like, are they gonna like sweep this before I start fighting? And bell rings. We throw punches. I get hit with like his forearm. I take him down, suplex him, slam him on his ground. We get back to our feet. I slam him one more time, take his back, choke him. It was like, I don't know, maybe a minute 18. But
what was that feeling like winning your first MMA fight?
It was super surreal because I was like, that's easy. I could do that 1,000 more times. And the next time I was like, I don't ever want to do that again. Like, I'm good. I can. My whole goal was, could I do this?
Yeah.
And I answered the question, yes. But goddamn, I was hooked. It was
just kept going at that point.
I literally fought July. I think I fought November of that same year. My next amateur fight, and I lost. I took it on like another week and a half, 2 weeks notice. Against a guy that used to be my friend, like one of my really, really good friends.
Oh, I was at that fight too.
And yeah, but you didn't corner me.
No, I didn't. I was backstage with you though.
Head coach from Sunnyside, Tony Leone, cornered me with Drew Fickett. Mm-hmm. And I remember this was the first time I've had I haven't even trained with a southpaw. And I remember I just kept getting hit with a right hook. I ended up getting TKO'd in like the late second, early third. My whole left eye was shut, and the ref stopped it, and I was just like, "Dude, that sucked."
Yeah, you take a picture. Did you think it was all cool having a?
Yeah, I have a picture of me at Level that night at the nightclub.
Yeah,
and I'm like this, like trying to like pointing at my eye, all stoked.
Dude,
but
I don't know what about it. Like anytime I've gotten like when I was wrestling or doing jiu-jitsu and I got like a black eye or cut. I always thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Me and my dad, when we had the first time we ever competed together, we both kind of got cut up a little bit.
Yeah.
And my mom looked at us like we're idiots taking pictures. Like, yeah, we're the gold champions.
Yeah, but that was like our first. That was my first experience in MMA. Was this dude was in my corner?
That's awesome.
And then like I don't know, that next week at Monday, we went out to San Diego to do a wrestling camp at Mater Dei Catholic High School in was it Otay Ranch?
It's San Isidro area.
Yeah.
Otay Ranch. San Isidro.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to get in, and it's one of my focuses in the show, is showing people that everyone has a story, and they can overcome anything. And hopefully someone with a similar story has going through the same situation and listen to this and be like, there's hope. You told me when we were talking about Tuesday, there was a little bit of a gap with your guys' relationship. Can you tell us about how you overcame those situations and essentially what were you dealing with?
So I've had a lot of surgeries and injuries through my wrestling career, and as a result of that, I ended up getting addicted to painkillers, and then eventually moving on to harder drugs and that lifestyle. So there was almost 8-year gap where I went on a little adventure and obtained a few felonies.
8 years sounds excessively long, but that's unfortunately was probably around that.
Because I didn't get clean until 2017.
Yeah, so me and Mercedes got together in 2011, and I think you fell off probably around 2010.
I fell off around 2013. So, like, we stopped talking around 2010 because he saw that path that I was going on. I was coaching. I was up in Phoenix still.
I remember the exact night. We went to this Irish pub.
After I got shot.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So that was, or it was right before you got shot. And I was just like, the story he told me on why he got shot, I was like, motherfuckers just don't get shot like that. Yeah. What the fuck were you doing? You know, and like that was the first time like my belief in him was kind of shaken. And I was like, there's something that don't add up. And then that's when I started finding out, you know, he was, you know, moving pills and taking pills. And that's kind of when I like started distancing myself, because at that time was when I started to come up.
Way up. Yeah. That's when like the UFC was calling. He was going to Japan. He was going all over.
And that was like when I was just like, fuck, dude, thank you for everything, but like, I'll see you in a little bit.
Dude, it was right after, wasn't it? No. Yeah, that was it. And then I got clean. Then I started training over at...
let me ask you this, who are the people that helped you get through those situations? Because essentially, like, I've seen people being in the college world, they deal with the same issue, they get hurt. And it takes almost an army of people just being at their corner.
I mean, I always had my brother Mark and my mom in my corner, no matter how much I fucked up, like how much I messed up. They were always there. There was times where my mom, like, just stopped talking to me as well, which she needed to do.
Tough love in a sense.
Yeah, well, it's not tough love. It's stopping the enabling, right? She was enabling her son to continue with the path that she was on. But that was also my fault. You know what I mean? Because I was the one that made the choice to do these things, you know? But yeah, my mom, and then occasionally a few other friends would still be there that I still have in my life. My brother Pudge, my brother Mark, my mom. My stepdad, Jerry, was a huge part of my life. And he supported me in the best way that he knew how to.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh.
So, yeah. And then I got the nudge from the judge, and that's what's
started changing everything.
Yeah, man.
And like the main reason I wanted to bring this up, because you're one of the best guys I know. You're one of the best guys I know. One of the guys that took me in under his wing when I started High Wired, never working security, and being like, my first day was the night before Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a crazy Friendsgiving.
Okay.
And the main reason, because you're one of the hardest workers I know. You grind every single day, and the reason why I just want that out there for people to know is you can change no matter what you're going through.
I mean, you can, man, and it's your choice. It's a hard choice sometimes, but it's really the easier choice at the end of the day. And I still have to be reminded of that quite often in a lot of my day-to-day things. And that's why I have this knucklehead in my corner, because he'll just be real with me all the time. Yeah. He'll be like, hey, man, you're being an idiot, you know?
Oh, we got through a rough one recently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We did.
And
I thought you were going to get a rough one with the security guard that you threw off on our team.
Oh, listen, that was an accident, bro.
Did he tell you about that one?
No.
You want to tell her, or do you want me to tell?
We'll circle back to it. Let's just stay with where we're at right now before I lose my train of thought.
All right. Well, let's get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
Trying to be smoother with the commercial breaks, guys. We'll be right back.
Stop.
Thanks for getting in.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash.
When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward.
Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Calling all families. The Marana Pumpkin Patch is your ticket to fall fun for everyone. From toddlers to grandparents. We've got it all. Jumping pillows, a diesel train, a super slide, and more. Kids will love our farm animals, while adults will love our famous corn maze. And don't forget our 70-acre pumpkin patch from Post Farms. Marana Pumpkin Patch, where families make unforgettable fall memories. Tickets available now at maranapumpkinpatch.com.
And we are back. So Brian, we were talking in the break. There's some more things you want to talk about, just how you overcame things and how successful you are right now.
So I got the DTAP program, which is drug treatment alternative to prison. So when you go in that, you sign your mandatory maximum minimum, right? So when I signed that, my mandatory minimum was 14 to 52 years. So what that means is if you mess up while you're on your probation and they don't feel like you're going to actively continue on that path, then they'll just put you in prison and you'll do your time.
Wait, 52 years of what?
Prison time.
God damn.
Yeah, dude, I told you I was in some dumb shit. Yeah. Some dumb stuff, dude.
So 15 was the minimum, maximum was 52.
Yeah.
Dang. And that's just if you do anything wrong or anything like that?
Not anything. I mean, there's some...
Like you can get a speeding ticket and stuff.
No, I mean, so the object of the program is to help reform you to be a better, upstanding person of the community, right?
So this is not 15 to 52 years of probation or...
No.
This is 15 to 50 years in prison.
Yes.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, man. Fraud is no joke, dude.
Oh.
Fraud is no joke.
Wild.
Yeah, so currently right now I have 6 felonies. I have 4 drug felonies and I have 2 fraud felonies. But now currently I have a level 1 fingerprint clearance card, which gives me the ability to coach at high schools, work in hospitals, work with clients that have DDD designations, or these like the severely mentally ill children, things like that. I work in behavioral health. I'm the operations supervisor at Community Bridges downtown, which is like psych stabilization, drug rehab, substance abuse, housing, shelter, things like that. You name it, and you're going through some crisis, we do our best to take care of you.
That's awesome. And that just shows, like I keep saying, man, you turned your life around completely. And I hope anyone's going through in that same situation, they can realize that it's possible.
It is, man. There's help out there. You just gotta be willing to do it and willing to accept the help.
Yeah, and you and Larry back at work, always making sure we're in the right mental state with the hikes and everything like that.
Yeah, man. Larry really looks out for everybody. I love that man. Yeah. He's been a huge part of this last year or so for the things that have been going on in my life that have been really hard.
Yeah.
Same with this dude. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I said, thank you for being open to that, man. Because, like I said, you're one of the greatest guys I know.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that very
really.
much. Dude.
I wonder what that security guard's going to say, though.
I mean, we still have a good relationship, man. We've worked with him since then, dude. Like, so here's the story with that, dude. So you keep bringing it up, all right? So
it's funny. Here's the thing. So there's this guy named, you've never met him. There's this guy named Sean.
Okay.
And he's notorious for every time he said, oh, man, it's been a quiet night. It's been really quiet. And this is that 150, you know how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Attaboy Dave with that one, brother.
Yeah, perfect.
But he was saying it was a quiet night, and Brian's coming out of the restroom, and I'm watching people go away, and what happens?
So I'm walking out of the restroom, I'm drying off my hands with my little towel tail, like my hands are behind my back, and I'm looking up, and I'm like, what's up, dude? And I look over to the right, and I'm like, oh, there's a fight. Oh, there's a fight. So we both go run into the fight, right? And we're separating them, and I just see somebody come out of this side, right? Just out of my peripherals, I see someone coming. So I throw this guy this way, and then I turn back and I grab the next person next to me, and it just happens to end up being third-party security in a suit. And I drag him like
good too, bro.
Far, dude. Like I felt bad, man. Like it was an accident, bro. Like sorry.
Get out of the way of the train, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like
get off the tracks.
Yeah, bro.
That didn't stop me there, bro. He just moved on to the next guy, dude.
Dude, my job is to make sure that everybody is safe and it gets home to their families, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a patron or
you do a great job.
Or a staff member. You know what I mean? Like, and if that's what the mode I'm in, I'm hyper focused on making sure that the situation is contained and everybody's safe. Then that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I apologized, picked him back up, and we went and escorted 2 more people out. You know what I mean? Like that's the name of the game. It happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes the job fun.
Don't talk to me about it. I was a terror there.
So was I.
I had a great time.
I
had a great time as security.
Yeah,
it's fun, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is.
It's fun until,
especially when you see the face on dudes that are like 6'4", like start falling, and they're like, how did this 5'8" guy just turn me upside down?
Dude, I had a guy come back and apologize to me afterwards. Because he said, I saw it in your face. You didn't care that I was like 300 pounds. You were still going to go after me.
That's the thing is, like, those guys have to realize, like, man, I know this is like this little kid's job. There was a kid there that didn't do shit. He would literally just sit there and watch the fights.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I don't think he still works there. Yeah.
No,
Next question.
Next question.
Yeah. So, he would just watch. He would come and get me like, hey, 2 guys are fighting. I go, the fuck are you getting me for?
Dude, you know back bar, right?
Yeah.
I had to flip over there and hold somewhere against the fence because they was trying to steal alcohol.
Yeah, that's where Mercedes and me.
That's where Willie choked out.
And third party got beat. Third party got the worst. I ended up getting like the inside of my lip a little bloody.
Yeah.
So this was Halloween last year.
You're scaring me. I'm happy I'm back.
This
bar
was
for
Halloween last year. That's the worst. That's where all the shit happens.
Dude.
That's where the shit happens because it's in the back. It's in the back. It's furthest away from the gates. The furthest place from security up front, right? And there's going to be security in the bathroom, security at the front of the bathroom. So what was happening is Justin staff encouraged everybody to dress up.
Oh no!
And I raised my hand and I go, "That's dangerous." He's like, "No, we're going to give you guys buttons that say I work at Highwire." They don't give a fuck about that. They're going to see a clown. Literally a clown, and start punching. So Steven at the time was dressed up as a mime, and he was working the door. And this guy like tried cutting in the bathroom, and Steven went, "Hey man, we got a line." And the guy slapped his hand, and I immediately like turned, and I thought they were homies. And he was like, "You don't work here," and pushed Steve. So I literally just hit him with a outside trip and landed on top on Neon Belly, and I'm holding his wrists. And I go, "Do not touch the staff." And he's like, "Get off me. I don't know you." And I go, "Dude," I'm going to let you go. I go, and he like, all of a sudden, I start getting hit in the side with like these like little fat punches. Like his son was like, "That's my dad." Right? Mercedes grabs this dude and throws him in the corner where the double doors for Johnny Gibson's are in the cage, and just starts kneeing him in the chest.
That's awesome.
And uppercutting him. And third party's eye is shut, his lip is split open, and we pull the guy up, and I have him in a Russian 2-on-1, and I'm holding the Russian 2-on-1 with a wrist
Dave,
lock.
you can zoom in on this too. Teach some wrestling.
Yeah,
Wait, teach
so
us. Look, zoom on this, Dave.
Security. Control the arm, the bicep and the wrist. Okay? This hand reaches through, and you have a sick-ass wrist lock when you want fucking somebody wants to get gully. Okay?
Sean, Miggy, who else we got?
So,
all y'all fools better be listening
But
to
here's
this.
the thing is I've even told, like, hey, allow me and Bryan to show controls.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we have to pay staff to do a meeting, and we don't want to do that. I go, okay, well, let everybody know that as long as they're security at Highwire, they can train at my gym for free. Yeah. But they need to learn how to do this. So they were like, Steven gets up off the floor, and he's like, hey, man, he's cool, let him go. And I go, nope, not till he's outside. He's like, dude, just let him go. As soon as third party let go, and I still had my Russian 2-on-1, here comes this dude's punch coming around, right? I duck. And out of nowhere, me and Willie weren't talking at the time. We had a little brother breakup. Okay, Willie just
romance breakup.
Willie grabs a rear naked choke, and they were like, "Don't." They were like, "Don't touch it." He's like, "Nope." He's like, he's already swinging on people. Willie put him to sleep. Everyone grabbed him, 2 legs, 2 arms, took him out the door and left him out front. And apparently, the guy used to work there, and he was all juiced up, big thick dude. But
is this who? Do I know him?
Then as that fight's getting carried out, there's 3 big ass biceps fighting at the back bar again. And it's just that's the area that it all goes down in right there. So one thing that I realize is, like, every doorman's got a racket, right? Every nightclub has some little subsystems within. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when security allows people to cut the line, and they're like, yeah, dude, you can cut the line for $20. And I'm like, here's the thing is there's 17 people in this line, and they're gonna see one guy pay you. And so guys used to come up and be like, hey man, I'll give you $100 to take a piss. And I go, no. And they're like, come on, dude, I really gotta go. I go, then go outside, like go piss in the alley or something. And they're like, nah, man, I'm gonna do this to you. And I go, look, if I let you go pee, you're gonna come out and there's gonna be 3 dudes out here that beat the shit out of you. Okay, so you're gonna pay me $100 to piss and then get beat up.
Yeah.
Right? And so guys didn't understand that concept. And that would happen all the time.
Oh, jeez.
The craziest one was a guy came up and he was like, hey man, I'll give you $50 to skip this line. I go, no. And I go, you have to go somewhere else. Go to the outside bar. This was in inside bathroom. And the guy goes, no man, I don't think you understand. Like, I really gotta go. And I go, I don't care, man. You're an adult. Like, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, go literally out the door and piss in the
go to the other freaking restroom on the other side or something.
He whipped his dick out and started pissing down my leg.
Oof.
Right there in the corner. And I choke slammed him and threw him into the girls' line. And like all these girls fell down like dominoes. Right? And I got neon belly on him. I grabbed both his wrists and I pulled my knee into his belly tight. And all of a sudden, it just smelled like shit so bad. I realized when I slammed him, I went neon belly on him, I made him shit his pants.
So hit that boo sign or whatever you think, the wonk 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 or whatever.
So we start dragging him out, and like as we're dragging him out, like you just caca smell through the whole bar, bro. It was like, ugh, who farted? So like, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks goes by, and I'm working on a slow ass Sunday. And this dude comes in with this fine-ass lady. And another fine-ass lady shows up. And I go, okay, good for him. But then I go up, I go, hey, I know you just ordered. I hate to tell you this, but I don't think you remember, but you got 86. I go, you can't be in here. And he's like, dude, I paid for my drinks already. He goes, and why am I 86th? I go, come talk to me. And he's like, no, you could tell me right here. We're adults. And I go, well, there's 3 adults here. One of them standing behind the bar and those 2 ladies right there. I go, but there's one that's not an adult. And he's like, what does that mean? I'm going to talk to the management. I go, you're going to talk to management? Do you want me to tell you what happened? And he's like, yeah, I'll tell you what happened. I go, you don't remember whipping your dick out and pissing on me while we're standing right here in the club? He goes, oh, dude, you put me in like a no choice situation. Like I had to make a decision. I go, and you made a wrong decision. You made a really wrong decision. And I was like, so now that I've had to explain this to you, and like 3 other people at the bar, like looking down, like, dude, what?
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so
I wonder if his mindset would have changed if he realized he was talking to a UFC guy.
I don't think so. Most people knew exactly who I was, and that literally by me being there stopped a lot of fights.
Yeah.
The guys that didn't know who I was were guys from across the line, Mexicans that would come over here and party that didn't know who I was, and those were the guys that started problems. The U of A athletes that come in and they act like, you know who I am, dog. I'm the baller. I'm like, oh, you're ball? Cool, I'm gonna call coach. Let him know what you're doing at Highwire. No, don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Mindset changes.
Come on,
right
bro.
there.
Like,
Yeah.
so just more than likely the times that I was there stopped a lot of stuff because I'd be like, hey, dude, come on. We're like, oh, you're right, homie. All right. He's like, he started it. I'm like, I don't care. One of you's got to move. One of you's got to go.
Yeah. Just chill out.
So usually it was pretty good, but man, that guy, I've seen him before. He's very arrogant and he thinks just he can do shit like that and then walk back in and,
That's crap.
And then wow, dude, it was wild.
Yeah.
That was when I realized like I'm getting paid. Like I used to get paid tens and $20,000s of dollars to fight on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting pissed on for $38 in tips on Mondays. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. We're getting short on time, but there's one thing I do want to go into real quick.
Yeah.
And you experienced something like every athlete dreams of, making it to the highest point. What was it like finally getting that phone call from? Was it from Dana?
Sean Shelby.
What was it like getting that phone call from him saying, we want you to come to the UFC?
It was kind of weird, right? Because when I got the call, we were at some fights in Vegas for Tough Enough. I had 3 of our amateurs fighting. And at the time, the gym that I was at,
Extreme Couture, right?
No, I was at another gym here in Tucson. But the gym that I was at thought I was boisterous and too much. And when I went to share the news of the phone call that I just got, I knew that I couldn't because it would lead to more problems than it would excitement. So I kind of had to like share with. Obviously called my wife and I was like, Mercedes. I go, guess what? They just called me. And she's like, who just called me? I go, UFC.
Were they scouting you out before or anything? Or?
Yeah, so when George Roop had been one of my training partners for a long time at Apex, Ed West and George, and I remember the night of the night of weigh-ins of my world title fight with Tito Jones, George Roop called me while I'm at dinner. He's like, hey man, I don't want to put any pressure on you. He's like, but I got some news that I got to share with you. And I go, okay, what's up? He's like, Sean Shelby's going to be watching you tomorrow night. And at this time, I'm like 11-1 with 10 finishes or 9 finishes.
Just running through guys.
And he was like, I don't want to put pressure on you, but Sean Shelby said he's going to be watching you tomorrow night, and if you win, you're gonna get pulled up. And I'm like, oh my God. Right? And like at this time was so much turmoil going on. One of my main training partners and brother, Freddie Lux, had just committed suicide.
Oh, shoot.
On September 24th. Sorry, September 15th. My son was then born September 14th. I was then fighting the biggest fight of my life, October 4th. So within 10 days of each other, these major events were taking place. And to get that bomb dropped on me when in this fight, I realized I couldn't take my normal corner with me. Ed West had called me and said, hey, I can't go to Canada with you, Tom. This is like the week of the fight. Hey, I can't go to Canada with you. Is there anybody that can go and corner you? And I was like, no. Joey couldn't go. There was like a bunch of people that couldn't go with me. Obviously, my wife couldn't go. She just gave birth to our son. So at the time, Casey Kenny was one of my students and pupils and training partners. He went with me. And then another training partner that we had, he trained at Daimyo for a while, Lenny Wong, Laser Lenny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So Laser Lenny and Casey ended up going to Canada to corner me. While I was in Canada, there was a gentleman by the name of Luke Hayabusa Harris. He's super IBJJF black belt, Zenith Canada. He's a legend. He's huge. He ended up fighting World Series of Fighting. I believe he's in the UFC for a little while on Ultimate Fighter. He ended up going, hey man, I heard you needed a cornerman. I said, yep. So he came in and calmed the whole room down. I remember like just feeling so depressed leading up to that world title fight. I had to land in Canada by myself and spend Monday through Monday through Thursday by myself.
Oh, shoot.
And it's raining, it's bleak. And I'm like, dude, I usually have my cornermen with
like
me.
your
They're
college,
keeping me.
being back at college
Bro,
again or something.
I'm in the sauna by myself. I'm doing everything weight cutting by myself. Finally on Thursday night, my boys get there and like the whole vibe changed, right? Friday night, I walk out, make the walk, and I noticed that when I'm looking above the ropes, I can actually see people in the audience, and I usually never have done that before. The fight starts, and I'm just kind of I got taken down by a boxer, which I hadn't given up any takedowns in my entire MMA career up to this point. And I had fought guys like Roman Salazar, who was a state champion for Seminole High School. I had fought, a couple other guys, but that were really strong wrestlers, but I had still not given up a takedown. This boxer kid took me down, and I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And going back and listening to the commentary, I was like, oh yeah, they said the same thing, that I'm on. Birchak's not on. I know he's going through a lot this week, blah, 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 blah. So we end up getting back to my feet, and he knees me in the cup. And I remember like looking around, like taking my minutes, and the ref's like, take all the time you need. And like all of a sudden, it was just like tunnel vision just went, and I like focused in. I'm like, I'm ready. And within the next 3 minutes, I took the guy down, ground and pounded him, took his back, choked him.
Then ended up in the UFC after
and
that.
Then I like 3-4 weeks later, maybe a month, maybe 3 or 4 months later, we're in Vegas, and I'm walking down Fremont Street with the team, and I look at my phone, and I got a 702 area code, and I'm like, oh, it's probably the promoter from here calling us about our guys. And I answer, and they're like, do you want to fight? Do you want to fight in Bangor, Maine, in 2 weeks?
And you had 2 weeks notice for your UFC debut?
Yep.
Oh shoot.
That's how me coming into the UFC was right around the time when people stopped getting announced that, hey, we signed Hector Lombard. He got a $300,000 signing bonus. Hey, we signed this guy. He's coming in. He gets an 8-week camp. No, at that point in time when I got pulled into the UFC was when the UFC changed their model of pulling fighters up for last minute fights. So they had the pipeline on Access TV just to grab guys that were winning the world titles and bringing them up, right? That's like the farm league, and they were bringing them into the UFC. And I remember walking down Fremont Street, and they're saying, hey, you're going to fight Frankie Saenz from Phoenix, Arizona, wrestled at ASU, was a homie of mine. You're going to fight Frankie Saenz in Bangor, Maine. And I said yes. And then that fight fell apart. And so I'm like, okay, I still didn't have a contract. They didn't send me my fight contract or anything. September 15th, 2013-14, I got a call where they're like, hey, we need an opponent for Joe Soto. And at the time, I knew Joe Soto was the first ever Bellator champion at 145 pounds. I knew he never gave up a single point his senior year in high school wrestling. And I knew he wrestled at at Central Iowa College with John Jones and was John Jones' roommate. So I was like, holy shit, another wrestler. I don't know how to box or kickbox very well, but at the time I was training a lot of Muay Thai. So I really tried to develop my boxing and kickboxing because I knew he was probably not going to be able to take me down. And if I did get taken down, I was going to get back up. That fight ended up getting taken away from me.
Was that when he went up to fight TJ for the main event?
Yes. So that fight was in Sacramento. It was UFC 177. On my way to weigh-ins, and Sean Shelby's blowing my phone up. I'm like, hey, sir, I'm so sorry. I'm in the elevator on the way down to weigh-ins. He goes, take your time. And I'm like, that's not good. And I go, I'm in the elevator. I'm on the way down to the lobby. He's like, I'll see you in a second. So I get down there. It's Joe Silva, who used to be the main matchmaker for the UFC, and Sean Shelby. And they're like, hey, we got bad news. I was like, what's up? They're like, Renan Barão fainted coming out of the sauna, and we're going to move up Joe Soto to fight TJ Dillashaw. And I said, I really understand why you're pulling Joe Soto up because of, his, former Bellator world champion. But I just won the MFC world title. And, I have, at the time, it was like a 89, 90% submission finish rate. I said, I'm a world champion. TJ's a world champion. I go, that makes sense. He goes, it absolutely does. He goes, but Porterville, California is only 45-minute drive from Sacramento, or an hour drive from Sacramento.
Oh.
He goes, we're going to be able to pull more fans from Joe Soto's hometown of Porterville to Sacramento than it is going to be getting Tucson natives to drive or fly to Sacramento to watch you. So it's literally just a geographical situation.
Was that how the UFC was a lot? Was a lot of it just based on
shit like that?
Yeah.
right?
That's crazy.
So they were like, hey, you can fight Henry Cejudo. His fight just fell out. Henry was already back in Tucson. He had gone on a plane and left. I go, okay, well, that means Scott Jorgensen doesn't have a fight. And they went over to ask Scotty, and I like as they're moving their mouth, Scott's shaking his head. And I got so mad at Scott Jorgensen, took to Twitter calling him, names and shit. I didn't understand Scotty was doing both of us a favor. Dana ended up pulling me into the Dana section, right, which is all leather seats. You get your food catered to, you get drinks all night. And we had at that time 1-year-old son in the stroller. Me and Mercedes are 3 rows back from the cage. And I'm behind Dana's monitor. And I go up to say hi to Dana. He's got this big-ass 6'8" security guard. And I was like, hey, I just want to tell him thank you. He's like, go ahead. And I went over to Dana. I was like, hey, man, I just wanted to say thank you for still, allowing me to be here. He goes, oh, not only that. He goes, I'm going to pay you your show and your win bonus.
Ooh, nice.
He goes, you said yes on 2 weeks' notice to fight Joe Soto, who's a bad motherfucker, and you said it instantly. He's like, those are the kind of people that I want to reward. He's like, so I'm going to pay you your show and your win.
Yeah, and then you end up beating Joe Soto eventually in the UFC too, right?
Right. So then I lost my UFC debut in Phoenix, and then me and Joe Soto ran it back. He's 0-1, I'm 0-1. We're both fighting for our job at this time. Yeah. And I finished him in 90 seconds. And that's when I dropped that line. I said, TJ did it in 5, I did it in 1.
Ooh. Oh, I remember that. That was all over Twitter, dude.
Yeah. I said, TJ did it in 5, I did it in 1. I said, what's up, TJ?
That's awesome, man. Hey, well, I want to say thank you guys for both being on the show. Thank you guys to 10th Planet community. You guys did a really good job blowing up these guys. They deserve it. They're legends. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it.
Hey, game of the week, Tucson High versus Ironwood. We will be on the sidelines, 4-1 Tucson High. Hey, I got to root for them. They're my high school. We'll see you guys at the game tonight.